Let me talk to you about that impressive win against Millwall in the Carabao Cup. Just how important are these cup competitions for you this season after the historical victory last season? They're still very important to you this season.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think that we always try to give every competition the respect. We'll always pick a team to look to win the game. We've reached the semi-finals of the League Cup before, so yeah, we want to do well in them, Rob. Going away to Millwall was a tough game. You know, Gary's teams are very well organised. They work very hard, and the crowd give them great support. So we knew it was going to be a real test. But yeah, we from a physical perspective, we stood up to the challenge very, very well. Uh, Lots of good moments in the game where we played well and eventually get two very good goals. So yeah, happy with a clean sheet and to get into the next round.
One of those tremendous goals you scored was from Kelechi Iheanacho. And you'll be aware of the stats, Brendan, I know you've been asked about him a little bit already, but in fairness to the local paper, they've done a bit of work, Leicester Mercury, on the stats, and he's had a goal involvement, either a goal or an assist, every 75 minutes he's been on the pitch. So you can understand why some of the fans are clamouring for him to make his first Premier League start. But from your perspective, is he better used off the bench in the Premier League right now?
No, it's all deciding on how we want to approach the game. I think it's great news because when I first came in to hear that wasn't the case with Kelechi. I think there was. I think what you've seen in 2.5 years is him and his approach and his confidence improving all the time. And it's absolutely great that whether he starts or whether he comes into a game, he can make the impact. But no, of course, if you're playing with two strikers up there, then of course that then can affect the balance behind that in terms of how you play. But what's most important is he's contributing. He's working very, very well. Jamie as well has got 3 and 5 games. Addy scored, Barnsley scored, Yuri scored. So the guys that need to be scoring goals are starting to get on the score sheet, and that's what you want over the course of the season.
Good stuff. How do you assess the start of the season? I mean, there's an awful lot going on at the start of the season. You've had some injuries as well, and a lot of competitions that are starting. But 3 defeats in the last 4 Premier League games probably doesn't tell the full story. But by your own very high standards, you'd want a bit more than that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and I think it's something that we'll see over the course of the season. Yeah, I felt, listen, we clearly deserved something away at Brighton. That was clear in the game. But for me, I've always got perspective on it, Rob. I think that, if I look over the course of the 5 games, excellent win against Wolves, West Ham, difficult evening for us. Close game against Manchester City. And of course, like I say, the Brighton game was a tough one to take at the end of that. So we just, as I said, we're very focused on improving. I never get too high when we win and never too low when we lose. So I've got a brilliant bunch of players who are constantly reflecting, analysing where we can be better, and I know that we'd have wanted, better results. But of course, it's over the course of 38 games. And I found it, especially in the second half against Brighton and the game against Millwall, a lot more like us in terms of our spirit, some of our football, some of our intensity. And that's the challenge now. We have to repeat that and we have to make that consistent. So yeah, still very early. We would like to have won, of course, every single game. But the players are human. They'll make mistakes. I'll make mistakes. And we'll do everything we can to be better in our next game.
Sean Dyche has just signed a new deal at Burnley. Has he not had the credit he deserves? I mean, look, as a British manager yourself, we've discussed about opportunities that some managers get and some don't. What about Sean Dyche with the job he's done at Burnley?
Sean's one of the outstanding managers in the country and in the Premier League. I think it says everything that people just expect Burnley to be in the Premier League. And that tells you everything about his quality as a manager and the players. I think, firstly, him. I know Sean well. He's a good guy. He works very hard. His teams are always organised, competitive. And for sure, what he doesn't get the credit for is the level of football that they play. they build the game. Yeah, okay, it's slightly longer, but that's okay. At times they'll play, but they play a lot in the game. Their back four players are all competent with the ball. They all have a real, high level of technical ability. It's the game is, it's 4-4-2, but it's flexible. Good players in midfield who can take the ball and pass the ball. Players up front who work hard and are honest and have qualities. And they make it really, really difficult for you consistently. So they as a team are a very, very good team. And he as a manager and with his staff, they've done a brilliant job at Burnley, because like I said, the feeling always will be that they will be in the Premier League, and it's a great achievement. So yeah, he's outstanding, and I have a lot of time for Sean on and off the pitch, and like I say, I think he's done a brilliant job.
And still Burnley yet to get their first Premier League win of the season, but winning in the Carabao Cup for the first time, if you discount penalty shootouts, this season in midweek. What can that do to the mentality, even if it's not in the Premier League, just to get that first victory?
Yeah, no, listen, we're in the game to win. That's we're in that business for results. So once you get that first win, then of course it settles everyone down. And no matter what competition it is in, you like to win. So good win in the week. Rodriguez getting 4 goals as well, so that will boost his confidence and the team's. And yeah, we anticipate and always expect a tough challenge against Burnley.